Like James Comey, Andrew McCabe, who Trump detested, Andrew McCabe also got the same exact audit that Comey got the same exact year. What are the odds? What are the odds that the two men who Trump accused of treason, what are the odds that they would be audited by the IRS? Two former heads of the FBI that Trump fired because they were looking into Russiagate. They get fired, and then they get the maximum audit from the IRS in the same year. What are the odds? It is impossible to calculate those odds. There isn't an adding machine or a computer big enough. Big Blue can't even calculate this. Now, The Hill reports that on December 1st of this year, okay, the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration announced that after a careful inspection, they have concluded that it was merely a coincidence that two former FBI chiefs who Trump considered to be mortal enemies, it was just a coincidence that both of them ended up getting the most rigorous tax audit during the same exact year they were both fired by Donald Trump. Just a coincidence. Well, that's a relief, right? I mean, if the Treasury Inspector General says there was no foul play, I guess we should believe the Treasury Inspector General. However, there is the small problem of General John F. Kelly, who served as Donald Trump's second chief of staff. Last month, it was reported that General Kelly said in a written interview with the New York Times that Donald Trump specifically ordered General Kelly, his chief of staff at the time, to, quote, get the IRS on Comey and McCabe. General Kelly says that he thought he had explained to Donald Trump why it's against the law for a president to order the audit of a political opponent. And he thought that was the end of it. Now, theoretically, General Kelly, chief of staff, should have gone immediately to the FBI to report the crime of a sitting U.S. president ordering an audit of his political opponents. That's against the law. You would think General Kelly, who swore an oath, would choose to protect the Constitution over Donald Trump. But instead, he chose to protect Trump. And I'm not quite sure if General Kelly committed a crime by not reporting Trump's crime to the FBI, the crime of a sitting president, ordering an IRS audit of his enemies. I'm not sure if that's a dereliction of duty or an actual federal crime, not going to the FBI and turning your president in. I'm not sure, but it does speak volumes to General Kelly's complete and utter lack of character. It speaks volumes to everyone in that Trump White House who put Trump before duty, which brings me back, speaking of duty, which brings me back to where we started. James Comey and Andrew McCabe headed the FBI in 2017. Trump's first year in office, and he fired them. He accused them both of committing treason because they wouldn't stop investigating Trump's relationship with Vladimir Putin. The very same year, both men, Comey and McCabe, are chosen for the audits of all audits. And yet, Donald Trump, who was so busy telling his chief of staff, General Kelly, to get the IRS to audit those two, right, Comey and McCabe, he also wanted audits, according to Kelly, of Hillary Clinton and former CIA director John O'Brien. He wanted audits of Jeff Bezos, who, besides Amazon, also owns the Washington Post, which is highly critical at times of Donald Trump. He wanted Lisa Page and Peter Strzok audited. Those were the two FBI agents who were deep into the Russiagate investigation. He wanted all those people audited. All these people Trump ordered to be audited, Kelly didn't follow the orders, but Trump ordered these people to be audited. And yet the mandatory audit that is supposed to take place for every sitting president was never conducted by our Internal Revenue Service. What now are the odds? What are the odds that both Comey and McCabe, who used to head the FBI, would both get audited, but Donald Trump wouldn't? Incalculable. So you might ask, who oversaw the Internal Revenue Service at the time? John Koskinen was the outgoing commissioner that year. He was an Obama appointment, and it's kind of like the Federal Reserve. Their 5-year terms. The Fed is 6, but the IRS commissioner is 5 years, and they stagger it. They try to stagger it in between presidents, so it's they can't be influenced, supposedly. Okay, so John Koskinen was the IRS commissioner in 2017. He was about to be replaced in 2017 by Charles Reddick, who was named IRS commissioner in 2018. So remember, 2018 is the year Comey and McCabe were being audited, and Trump was supposed to be audited, and he wasn't. Now, Reddick, in all fairness, wasn't in charge of the IRS when the audits for FBI directors Comey and McCabe started, because those audits started back in 2017. But Reddick was in charge in 2018 when those audits were being wrapped up and Trump's audits still had not begun. Jordan Leibowitz writes over at Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington. It's called CREW. People should go to that website, Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington, CREW. In September of 2020, 2 years ago, Leibowitz wrote about Charles Rettig, the commissioner of the IRS at the time. Trump was still president, right? 2020, September. Now, Leibowitz wrote this 2 years ago without the benefit of knowing that Trump had not been audited his first 2 years in office. We just found this out last week. He didn't know, Leibowitz didn't know 2 years ago that FBI heads Comey and McCabe were being audited. We just learned that earlier this year. But this is the article from 2 years ago, okay? It's an article entitled, Trump's IRS chief has made hundreds of thousands from Trump properties while in office. Huh? This is based on reporting also done by Caroline Zhang, who's also a writer over at CREW. She revealed back in 2019 that when Rettig was picked to become IRS commissioner, he initially neglected to disclose that he owned real estate at a Trump-branded property in Hawaii, where Rettig earned anywhere between $100,000 to $200,000 a year on rent and royalties. He was a business partner of Trump's. That's why Trump named him to head the IRS.